This program is brought to you by the Genesis Communications Network, a world leader in talk radio since 1998. Visit GCNlive.com today.
Broadcasting and streaming live all across America. This is HomeTalkUSA with Michael King, where we will discuss topics pertaining to your home with industry-leading experts. Michael King is a licensed general contractor with more than 30 years of experience in home improvements and the author of Contracting with the King. Join us this hour for our segment Invent America with your co-host, the Inventor Lady, Rita Crompton. Discover what's next in the home improvement industry and explore new products and innovations. Or if you have that next great big idea, learn what it takes to bring your invention to the world as Michael King and Rita Crompton talk to America's inventors and innovators. Remember, the America of tomorrow is being invented today. We invite you to visit us at HomeTalkUSA.com, one of the best resources for home improvement information around today. Your best life begins with your best home, and there's no place like Home Talk. That's HomeTalkUSA.com. And now, we proudly present Invent America from the #1 home improvement radio program in the country, Home Talk USA, with your host, the Cajun contractor, Michael King, and his co-host, the Inventor Lady, Rita Crompton.
Hi, everyone. Today I am filling in for the King of Bayou Land, Michael King, and the father of Home Talk USA. So, Michael, I am hoping that you are getting all of that Christmas shopping done and those things taken care of, those extra Christmas things you said you were out and about to go do. So very happy to fill in for you, and filling in then on this segment with me is George Peters. He is an inventor from a couple of decades and is currently the president of New England Invents. And so, George, thanks so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me, Rita. Always a pleasure.
Well, you know, everybody gets a ton of junk mail, and we certainly have, learned how to do delete and throw things in the trash. But, inventors, this is a fun topic because, it is the season to get a ton of junk mail, but inventors get their own new layer of junk mail. And so, we always say, it's like, well, there's not much of a learning curve for inventors. It's not your day job where you can learn as you go that, oh, this is junk. For the first time inventor, you start getting something that says it looks like it's from the USPTO or, the official trademark office or law offices of somebody. And then you realize they're trying to sell you stuff.
It happens every day. The new inventor has gone through quite a bit of work to protect that idea. And as you know, Rita, every Tuesday the Patent Office publishes issued patents. And by Wednesday, I know myself, by the following day, I was so excited that people were contacting me now that your name is public and trying to sell you everything. And to kind of work through all that, you've done a tremendous amount of work to get that patent, and now you have to really start thinking about protecting your money. As I have spoken many times with New England Invents, you're going to have so many people with their hand in your pocket, you won't be able to get your own hand in there to get your money.
No kidding.
Right. So, and with the Internet, it's... Do the work, do the due diligence, and when you get that email, you get that phone call, you get that piece of, mail, and their call to action, and you have to do it now, and things like that. That should be a big red flag right there. But you can do a lot of work yourself and checking it out online, making some phone calls, asking the right questions. How long have they been in business? Who are the other? Name some other inventors that they work with and things like that. And usually they'll end up hanging up on you and things like that. And then you can weed them out that way. It's very important in that you've done a lot of hard work. And unfortunately, ours is an unregulated business. So you have to really be very wary of that. And you know the old saying, if it's too good to be true, it probably is. And there's easy ways to check it. Check them all out by doing a little research online.
On emails, I always tell someone, never click on the number or the link in the email. You know, you don't call that number because if it's a scam email, the phone number is a scam too.
Yeah.
So if you go and you check, it's like, all right, well, I got something from the USPTO, then actually go to the USPTO site and find your information. Or then call the attorney you use, not someone listed in the letter. So that you're exactly right. There are things that you can do that will protect you and not let you be scammed from, you know, some of these different organizations. I know one of the ones that I have inventors call me about all the time is that, you know, they get a letter from another country that says, oh, you've got to register your trademark here. No, you don't. But they don't know that.
They prey on, they only have to do one thing, Rita, the fraudsters. All their job is, all day, is to get a few people to take the bait, and then they have a successful day. You know, they might make 50 calls, and they get 5 people to send money, and then they've made their quota. And just imagine a room full of 25, 50 people, 100 people making the same calls or sending out emails like that. And they're preying on people, inventors who are very excited. They, you know, people offering them help, or they have to protect something they don't really know how to protect. If you've used a patent attorney, your patent attorney will know when you have to file certain things. Your patent attorney will know what's legitimate or not. They're the ones that are charged with following, you know, when your fees are due for maintenance fees for your patent and things like that. So if you use the patent attorney, spend the hour with them saying, hey, what about this? And I'm sure they'll be able to certainly weed out the frauds for you very quickly.
Yeah. It's amazing how often somebody, you know, that I'm working with for licensing, and they will say, oh, I just got this in the mail. I got to throw it away. Really? It says this. And they throw it away. It's junk mail. And, you know, being able to protect the inventors from being taken advantage of, it's one of the things that, you know, you and I have talked about for years. I know it's something that is near and dear to Michael's heart, and that's why we do Invent America, is to say, no, that's not a proper step. That is a scam. And a lot of times, you know, you're exactly right. When they're asking for money up front or that quickly, you have to pay for this, that is a scam. And there are, you know, people can call me, they can check in with their local inventor group, they can call their attorney. There's a lot of places where they can actually go and take a deep breath and get the right information.
We certainly people contact us from even other countries because people want to bring their products into the United States or new inventors. We encourage them, you know, at New England Invents. We were basically born in the 1970s from a small group that wanted to see how they could help, see what this world of inventing was all about. We're one of the oldest in the country. We have a nonprofit now, newenglandinvents.org. Send us an email, call us, and we'll be able to direct you into the right place.
Yeah, it's amazing, and it can be a little scary, and for some inventors that take the bait, it can destroy the whole process. They feel like they've been taken advantage of, and then they don't get, you know, possibly a very good and helpful product out because they were taken advantage of. So anyway, stick with us, everyone. We've got a couple of inventors on who are going to talk about their experience, and we want to send a shout out to Kicker Design, one of our sponsors. We are always grateful for their sponsorship and for their participation in the show. So if you need to get a prototype done, go to our website, HomeTalkUSA, and link to Invent America, or go to inventamerica.info, and you would be able to see Kicker Design on there with Addison Shelton. So stay with us, and we are going to be right back with Mike Senerchia, and we're going to have him get the correct pronunciation of that name. George, thanks so much for being with us, and we will have you back on as we wrap this all up.
Thank you, Rita. Always a pleasure.
Talk USA with Michael King. Do you have questions about your next home improvement project or home repairs? Now you can chat with verified home repair and home improvement experts in just minutes. Get the help you need by visiting HomeTalkUSA.com. One of the best resources for home improvement information around today. Your best life begins with your best home, and there's no place like Home Talk. That's HomeTalkUSA.com. And now, back to Invent America from the #1 home improvement radio program in the country. Home Talk USA with your host, the Cajun contractor Michael King, and his co-host, the Inventor Lady, Rita Crompton.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for being with us this afternoon. And we are talking about, it seems like the right time of year to talk about all the junk mail inventors get, because it's a different intensity. Most of us recognize junk mail from credit card companies and salesmen and all that kind of stuff. But when you're an inventor and you get something that says, from a government office or from, a registered patent attorney, you get kind of nervous. Well, a lot of it is junk. So how do you tell the difference? And our next inventor is Mike. And, Mike, I'm going to let you correct me on the saying of your last name, Senerchia?
That's about right. You got it.
Okay. Mike is the inventor of PICC Pouch, and it is a home infusion therapy safety tool. Mike, I'm going to let you tell our audience what it is exactly, and then please give your website so if they are looking for it, they can go find it.
Okay. Thank you. Well, PICC Pouch is basically a device I created to hold the medicine ball when you have to go through IV therapy. PICC, P-I-C-C, is actually peripheral inserted central catheter. So most of the times when you have a PICC inserted into your arm, you have a ball of medicine and 3 feet of IV line, and you have to wait for it to dispense. My product allows you to put the medicine ball attached to your wrist, plug it into your port, and you're free to go. Your hands are free, and you're not restricted on your mobile activities, and you can do whatever you want. So it's a pretty easy device, but it makes a big difference in your life when you're going through the therapy. And the website is PICC-Pouch.com.
Excellent. And I noticed we're going to have you on again to talk about, the intellectual property steps that you went through. But for now, we can tell our listeners that you've got 3 design patents and a utility patent. So we'll talk about the difference on those on another show, because there's a lot of inventors out there that will end up getting both when they can. So, we're talking about the junk mail. Once you're, at 18, generally about 18 months, a patent is published. And then the junk mail starts, because now your contact information is made public to the entire world. So tell our inventors a little bit about your experience.
Well, you get all kinds of, as you say, junk mail. You get these scam companies that send you what looks like an invoice, and they tell you, well, your patent. Actually, these are patents or trademarks. I get them more for my trademarks. They send you an invoice that says your patent or trademark is about to expire, and you need to reassign and pay us $1,200 or $1,500 to get your patent on board. And it's some place in Pennsylvania or Philadelphia or Arkansas or whatever, and it's usually a company that has a Polish or Ukrainian background. And they scam you, and I'm assuming people are actually paying this, and it's a scam bill, and you get a lot of them.
Yeah, like George said, for them it's a numbers game, and it's like if they've made 50 calls a day and they get 5 people that panic and pay it, they've made their mark. And so what I tell inventors, because a lot of them will call me and say, I just got this, and it's like, delete it, throw it away. But a lot of times you can tell by the email address that it comes from that it looks weird. Never call the phone number that's listed with the email or in the letter that you might get. I see a lot of them for trademarks as well, and get a lot of the questions for the trademarks. So, just throw them away. There's so many scoundrels out there.
Yeah, it's a shame. It's really a shame, but there's a lot of companies out there just looking to scam people and take advantage of people that are uneducated or inexperienced on their road to inventing or creating something, and they lose money. Think twice. Yeah. Look at the fine print. look things over very carefully. A lot of times you're going to see they'll actually say not affiliated with the patent office or not affiliated with the trademark office. That should be a red sign, a red flag right there.
Yeah, I mean, if you read down through it, you can generally see those things. And it's like, don't have the panic attack of clicking on paying the bill, because now you can let a virus into your own computer or give some scoundrel out there access. Take a deep breath, take a look at it. Like you said, look at that fine print down there, because they say not affiliated with, and there are certainly ways to tell. Can people actually buy your product right now?
I don't have it for sale yet. No, I have a sample of the product that I had many made that are sellable. I haven't sold any yet. I haven't pushed to sell any yet. Really looking to see if I can get a medical company distributor to just license it and let them take the ball and run with it. I don't want to be the manufacturer distributor.
I totally understand, and you answered it exactly the way I was going into the next question, which was to say, what are your next steps? Because we are working on helping you license that intellectual property. And so we are going to be putting together that package to help you. Next week is Christmas, so we will probably wait until Tuesday or Wednesday next week to work with you and get things started. But being able to get, teed up the way you have, and your product is like, all right, here I am, here's what's filed, and now this is my next step. How long has that taken you, Mike?
Oh, this roller coaster ride has been a torturous 3.5 to 4 years.
I love the way you describe that. Yes. I think that torture chamber is something a lot of inventors experience.
Yes, and I don't know that a lot of people would pursue and persevere and continue and get to the finish line, because it's emotionally, financially, and just everything part of your life draining.
It certainly can be, but when you hit your next milestone, there's always an adrenaline rush as well, and you get the encouragement to go on to the next step.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. I won't give up. This will be on the market. It'll be a worldwide product, and it's going to help millions of people.
Excellent. Well, there is the music, everyone. So we're going to run off and pay a couple of bills. But if you are, or you want to be an inventor, join us at the Inventor Roundtable meeting so you can ask questions. They are free. And if you want to go to our website, invent-america.com or inventamerica.info, we'll get you connected to all of us. And so stick with us. We've got another inventor coming up.
HomeTalkUSA with Michael King. Do you have questions about your next home improvement project or home repairs? Now you can chat with verified home repair and home improvement experts in just minutes. Get the help you need by visiting HomeTalkUSA.com. One of the best resources for home improvement information around today. Your best life begins with your best home, and there's no place like Home Talk. That's HomeTalkUSA.com. And now, back to Invent America from the #1 home improvement radio program in the country, Home Talk USA, with your host, the Cajun contractor Michael King, and his co-host, the Inventor Lady, Rita Crompton.
Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for being with us today. If you would like to be on the radio with us, it is free. All I need you to do is go to Invent-America and fill out the form that says want to be on the show. So we do Invent America because America Invents, and we have for centuries, and we do everything from new windmills to aerospace and concrete gadgets to little cool devices that make life easier. And Dana Chapman is our next guest, and she's got one of those makes life easier gadgets that everybody's going to want to get. So, Dana, thank you so much for being on with us.
Well, thanks for having me.
So tell our listeners, coffee carry-on. You know, most of America drinks something. It may not always be coffee, but it's going to be warm or in a cup that spills. So tell everybody, what is it that you've got?
Okay, so I am a coffee lover, and I also love to travel. So a couple years ago, I was boarding an airplane, as you do when you travel, and I had a full cup of coffee, bougie type that you get from, before you board, because the coffee on flight is never good enough. So I go to sit down. I'm with a good friend of mine. We're coming back from a girls' weekend trip, and I'm just like, how is it there's no place for me to safely put this cup of coffee? Once you're up in the air, they say when the tray table is down, then you can place your cup of coffee on the tray table. So I was like, there's got to be some other way to utilize that pocket in front of you, because typically it's like you hold the coffee between the knees or on the floor between your feet. I mean, if you're a coffee lover, you know exactly what I'm talking about here. And yes,
I do.
As well, yeah. So I mean, it's a real problem. The struggle is real. So I had said to my friend, I'm like, there's got to be some way. Now, I'm also a bit of an environmentalist, so it's not like I want to add more plastic to the environment or anything like that. But I was like, there's got to be some material, recyclable, something utilizing that pocket of the seat in front of you. So when we landed, I Googled it, looked it up, and there were a few things on the market, but sure enough, they were plastic and mixed reviews at best. So I got home. My husband has a bit of an engineer mind, and we love to work on projects and solve things together. So I gave him this problem. I said, let's figure it out. So here it is. We went through about probably 5 prototypes or so. I do have a utility patent and a design patent, and it is called the Coffee Carry-On. So it is one single device. It is made of a nice sturdy cardboard. Believe it or not, you can reuse it again and again. It collapses flat, so in between uses, as long as you take care of it, you can use it again. And it also uses an existing cup sleeve, so it's not reinventing the wheel there. Any tapered cup that fits in an existing cup sleeve, it is actually part of the device. So it's you can use a hot beverage, a cold beverage. It's really like, it solves for, I can finally bring my favorite beverage on the flight and enjoy my flight.
Well, excellent. And for anybody out there who would like to go and get one of their own, coffeecarryon.com. We will post this on our website. And that way then you can go, take a look, get yours ordered. Probably won't be there by Christmas, but, that's okay, because a lot of us are doing travel in the first quarter of the year because we're going to trade shows. And my husband and I both enjoy coffee. And carrying it on, been there, done that, sprayed soda all over the ceiling of the airplane, made everybody unhappy. So anyway, just a little side note on my part. But, you've got a design patent, you've got a utility patent. I would imagine you've, done some trademark work. Tell us about the junk mail.
Yeah, so I'm trying to remember when we first started getting it, if it was when I actually applied for it or because we actually received our utility patent approval before our design patent approval. It took probably over a year longer to do the design one. But we did start getting junk mail constantly. But because I'm an entrepreneur, I've been in the service industry for a couple decades. I was already really on the pulse of junk mail and realizing I'm going to get tons of solicitations, and most of the time just throw that stuff out. It's just recycling. I'm like, I may open it, it may pique my interest, but most of the connections I make, to be honest, they're like how, Rita, you and I connected on LinkedIn. There's other ways of connection that I feel are more authentic and genuine. I can vet it a lot easier. So typically just goes in the recycling.
So, and that's good advice for our inventors, because so much of that stuff that you receive, either via email, some phone calls, a lot of it's a snail mail, is just junk, and they're just trying to, get your adrenaline rush so you have a knee-jerk reaction. So take a deep breath. follow it up. Don't make any crazy calls out there, because there's plenty of us that you can check through. What advice do you have for our listeners in watching for scoundrels, just scoundrels in general in this industry?
I cannot emphasize enough how important it is to have a circle of people you trust around you, so you can use them as a sounding board, so you're not making any rash, harsh decisions on your own. And that, over time, I have really strengthened my intuition muscle, and I am a bit of a skeptic, but I'm also cautious about, I don't want to miss an opportunity either. So, I'm sure, the other inventors out there can relate to that. And they're like, yeah, this could be an amazing opportunity, or it could be like, wow, does this sound too good to be true? And as my husband would say, does this pass the sniff test? Like, there's just something that's like, it doesn't smell right. Your little...
I want to know what a scoundrel smells like, so that I can tell everybody. It's like, if you smell this, you throw it away. But you're right in the fact that, you've got to at least take a look. The last thing you want to do is throw away something that says from the law offices of, and it was your law office.
Right.
And so, you do have to take the look. But, there are certainly ways that you can do the sniff test and make sure that it is something that is legitimate. And be careful. Be careful out there, everyone. And so it is so nice to meet you voice to voice as opposed to face to face. We did connect on LinkedIn. I am looking forward to talking to you several more times. Have a wonderful holiday, Dana. Everyone out there, we're going to go and pay a couple of bills. Stick with us. So we are going to wrap up the topic of junk mail and how you need to be careful out there. So stay with us, America, because we've got some more inventing to talk about.
HomeTalkUSA with Michael King. Do you have questions about your next home improvement project or home repairs? Now you can chat with verified home repair and home improvement experts in just minutes. Get the help you need by visiting HomeTalkUSA.com. One of the best resources for home improvement information around today. Your best life begins with your best home, and there's no place like HomeTalk. That's HomeTalkUSA.com. And now, back to Invent America from the #1 home improvement radio program in the country, Home Talk USA, with your host, the Cajun contractor Michael King, and his co-host, the Inventor Lady, Rita Crompton.
Hello, everybody, and we are going to wrap up this segment of Invent America. And we're talking about, scoundrels, which, you can kind of think would be, a really sad topic, but not necessarily, because, there was always Scrooge to talk about. He had a happy ending. So, George, with that in mind, how should our inventors watch out for scoundrels and turn them into a happy Scrooge instead of a miserable Scrooge? Bet you didn't see that question coming, did you?
No, I didn't, but that's okay. I don't want to say I've heard them all, but I've been through quite a bit. My first patent was awarded on April Fool's Day on 2003. I kind of should have known by then that I was in for a wild ride the last 20 years. So you usually can tell pretty quickly if you take a little time to see what kind of correspondence that you have. I always like calling people. Call them back if there's a phone number. If there is, sometimes there isn't. Sometimes it's just a website. Sometimes it's just a number to, reference to with a text. Never want to do that. Get a person. If you can't talk to a person live and check them out yourself, do not do it. And if you can, get get yourself to a group like yours, Rita, like mine, New England Invents, and just maybe they have some information on them. Maybe the information is don't go that way. Don't go down that road.
Yeah.
That's the most important. There's a lot of ways to do some due diligence on people nowadays, and referrals, still personal referrals are the best to go by.
And I've told people, it's like even with that, it's like, be wary. Ask the questions, because honestly, if someone asked, if I ask someone for a referral, it's like, would they give me a bad one if they had one? Probably not. They're going to give me the best ones. So it's like, take it with a grain of salt. Ask yourself some tough questions. If they ask you to pay for something up front and they've got no accountability, that's another trigger. And, somebody will tell me, they'll send me then a letter they got from a company. And it says, this was a generically created letter. They send the same letter to everyone telling you what a wonderful idea you have. And so when you separate out now doing, some research, there are ways to protect yourself out there.
There are enough experienced inventors out there that will help. I mean, I talked to, several people when I was starting out just to find out who, the good, the bad, and the ugly were in the business. But it still took me a long time. Sometimes I was taken advantage of by people who I never thought would. You have to always be wary of, when I wanted to always hear something good about one of my products I was trying to develop, I would show my mom. She would always tell me it was a great idea. Right? She was always going to tell me.
Yeah,
but if I wanted really, so the same thing with when you get a letters or email, show it to somebody else who might say, that doesn't look like to me, or like that, or I saw that before, that's a scam. So do your homework, do your due diligence to protect that idea you might have just spent years working on and spend some money on. Don't let them lift your wallet at your most vulnerable time when you're just getting, your feet on the ground. You see your path. Are you going to go licensing with the product? Or are you going to go try to manufacture it yourself and do that? There's enough decisions that you have to make that's going to require you to have some money in your pocket. Don't give it up easily to somebody else on just being excited that someone says, oh, you've got a great idea, you can make millions of dollars. I can tell you I've been doing this for a long time, and that's not the way it happens.
That's right. That's right. So, people out there can join the Inventors Roundtable meetings. They're free. And our last meeting, it was last week on a Thursday night. We had people from Florida to California and Canada on the meeting. And they were thrilled to be able to talk to people from all over the country and ask advice and experiences. And so those meetings, whether they're a local in-person meeting like New England Invents, or there are virtual meetings, sometimes the person that gives you the best information is the inventor sitting next to you. So, right. George, thank you so much for your insights. Thank you, America. Stick with us. We are going to wrap up this segment of Invent America right before the holidays in just a few minutes. And now we're going to let some bills be paid, and a big thank you to Genesis Communications Network for letting us have a home.
HomeTalkUSA with Michael King. Do you have questions about your next home improvement project or home repairs? Now you can chat with verified home repair and home improvement experts in just minutes. Get the help you need by visiting HomeTalkUSA.com. one of the best resources for home improvement information around today. Your best life begins with your best home, and there's no place like Home Talk. That's HomeTalkUSA.com. And now, back to Invent America from the #1 home improvement radio program in the country. Home Talk USA with your host, the Cajun contractor Michael King, and his co-host, the Inventor Lady, Rita Crompton.
Hey, everybody. I hope you have a wonderful holiday. We will be back right after the new year. And we're going to be talking a lot about the ASD Market Week that's coming up, and that is a professional show. So if you've got a product or you know someone who does have a product and it is time to show off and let the world know that there is a good product out there that they haven't seen, have them get in touch. Go to Home Talk USA and link on the Invent America link, or go to invent-america.com, and you will be able to get in touch with us. Tell us about your product. We can get you on the radio. Join us for the Inventor Roundtable meetings. They're free, and so is being on the radio. But we want to get all of the inventors out there who've got something they're thinking about, something they're working on, the chance to talk about the product and show off about your product. Because here, Invent America, because America invents. Have a wonderful weekend and a happy holiday, everybody.
Home Talk USA with Michael King is produced by Home Talk Media in association with King's Broadcasting Network and Genesis Communications Network. Broadcast and streamed live from the great state of Louisiana. Host and producer, the Cajun contractor, Michael King. Executive producer, Michael Mellinson. Affiliate and sponsor relations, Joe Spera. Comptroller, Sheila Gregoire. Assistant producer, Christian Bethencourt. Board operators provided by Genesis Communications Network. And I'm your announcer, Kevin McCarthy. Music includes King's Creole by Prolific Arts, Cajun Jam by StockMusic.com, and Zydeco City by Steve Rice. Home Talk USA with Michael King is sponsored by Bonide, pest solutions for your home, garden, and lawn. Decorators, take outdoor living beyond ordinary. Aztec Washer, innovative roofing solutions. Seal it right, seal it tight. Trimislab, replace rotten or missing wood with Trimislab expansion joint repair. Masonry Cosmetics, change the color of any porous masonry with proven masonry staining. Green Products Company, #1 in wood preservatives. Preserve, protect, and clean what you value, and most of all, make it last. Bond Products, manufacturers of InstaBind, the world's first do-it-yourself carpet binding solution. Deckrite, life is tough. Make your exterior flooring tougher. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Home Talk USA with Michael King. Until next time, visit us at HomeTalkUSA.com. Your best life begins with your best home, and there's no place like Home Talk. That's HomeTalkUSA.com.
Yay!